What is up, guys? Wednesday night, Christmas Eve for NFL draft fans. Thomas Mott alongside Josh Davis here on the Wednesday Linc Live. This is the night before Christmas. As I just said, this is the biggest pre-night of the year in terms of non-football activities that happen on a football field. And Josh, we have a lot to go ahead and get into, but I'll start by saying this. The Eagles have been linked to every single prospect you could possibly think of. They're considering trading up. They're considering trading down. They might take Bijan. They might take an offensive lineman. They might take a defensive lineman. I don't know. Everybody's been linked to Philadelphia. It's been a wild past 24 hours. What's up, man?
It has been. Yeah, what's up? It's been crazy. It's been wild, but I'm so excited. Like you mentioned, I mean, it is literally like Christmas Eve, maybe better. I mean, just the anticipation. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And like what you just alluded to, there's literally everything on the table, which I think is a very good sign, because if you kind of read the tea leaves or just think about it, that's what Howie wants everyone to think, is that everything is on the table and only he and maybe a couple people in the inner circle actually know what's going on. There's a few names, obviously, that I would love to see, you would probably love to see, but then the question becomes, who is it actually? So the fact that we are less than, or I guess, a little bit over at this point, 24 hours before the draft actually starts, that is crazy. I can't believe it's already gotten here, but yeah, the anticipation has built and continues to build. I can't wait for the start of it, because I'm ready to get all this speculation out of the way and figure out, okay, who are they actually going to go with?
I want to remind everybody that we're live, obviously, right now. We'll be live for the next hour and a half, taking your questions, more entries into our jersey giveaway. We'll talk about that because that's happening tomorrow night. We're going to be live tomorrow night as well. The draft starts at 8 p.m. I think we're going to go live about 7:30. We're going to have a full confirmation on that. My channel's where we're going to be. Josh is going to be with me the entire time. We're live the entire first round. So mark your calendars for tomorrow. Even if you have ESPN up, that's fine. We're going to have it up too on our other monitors. But watch us and hang out with us. That way we can all comment and talk together. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Okay, welcome people. We got a bunch of people joining us right now. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Let's just start with the news that happened literally a couple of, I'm going to call it minutes ago here. This is the news to start today's show. I throw it up on your screen right now. This is from Tom Pauline of Pro Football Network, and here it is. Confirmed with multiple sources, the Eagles are setting the groundwork for potential move up from the pick 10 if they could get one of the pass rushers, and quote. Now, is this smoke? Who knows? Everything we talk about tonight, Josh, could be completely false and total smoke. So we're going to preface that right now instead of pretending like we know what's going on. This does sound like Philadelphia, though. This sounds like the Eagles want to get a pass rusher. They're seeing that Brandon Graham is aging. They're seeing that Fletcher Cox is aging. Josh Sweat is good. He's not a superstar. They want to get somebody else in there. And the question is it 3 pass rushers, or do you conclude Nolan Smith? Because obviously it's Jalen Carter. Obviously, it's Will Anderson. Obviously, it's Tyree Wilson. But do you throw in Nolan Smith on this list as well as a possible trade-up guy, or is it just those 3?
I think it's just those 3. I could be wrong. We'll see how this thing plays out, but I think it's those 3. And if you remember the reports, I think it was James Palmer. I could be getting that wrong, but the 3 pass rushers that Philly was really interested in were those 3 that you mentioned: Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, and Jalen Carter. So the question is, how far does one of them potentially slide to 5, 6, 7, and then you go up and trade? I don't think that you'll have to do that for a Nolan Smith. Yes, he could go off the board right in front, but the vast majority of mock drafts and just the rankings and draft boards and everything, it seems like if Philly wants Nolan Smith, he's going to be available at 10. I could be wrong. That may be not happening, but it feels like that's a possibility there. So I think it's one of those 3, like what we mentioned. And I agree with you, though. I do think it's going to be defensive linemen. And then the question becomes, what do you trade to go get it? I know that Jalen Carter was interviewed today. They had the players out on the field being interviewed by the press. And he was asked, hey, if you're at 10, do you think the Eagles are going to get you? Do you think you slip past 10? And basically he said, yeah, I feel confident the Eagles are going to take me. Now, you could rewind that all the way back to Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, saying that, or practically saying that he's not going to visit with anyone outside the top 10 because he has some sort of assurances. And we speculate that that was the Eagles, but I can't possibly see Jalen Carter going beyond 10, obviously for the reasons that we make, but really even like 5 or 6. I think if you want him, that's about as far as he's going to go. And then you have to trade up. So this makes sense. And I would say, even if you look at it, that Tony Pauline, he called the Cam Jurgens news before the draft. You remember last year?
Yes.
I mean, he said, hey, Cam Jurgens is a name to keep an eye out on. And obviously look what happened. So I would be curious to know like how much of the speculation was false, but at least he called one of them. So you got to give a little bit of credence there. But you just never know. But I could buy into that for those 3.
Let's talk about what it would take to go ahead and move up and where you could see them land. There was another report from multiple sources. Dov Kleiman had a tweet. I mentioned it on my show this morning that Houston and Arizona at 2 and 3 want to move back, but a GM told somebody, I forget who Dov Kleiman was quoting, but a GM said that there are no players that people want to trade up to 2 and 3 who are really worth going and getting. So let's just assume 2 and 3 are out of the question here. I really think this is going to be a defensive player and a defensive player at 2 and 3. And now that could be Jalen Carter and Will Anderson, leaving Tyree Wilson as your only trade up option. But as you mentioned, this is your sweet spot here. 6 to 9 is your sweet spot of where Philadelphia would go. And really, I think 7 with the Raiders is perfect for Philadelphia. And it works for the Raiders pretty well as well. What if we go 10 plus a second next year, plus an additional pick? Who knows what it is? You move up 3 spots. You get ahead of Chicago, which is the real issue in terms of Jalen Carter. It's also ahead of Atlanta, who has been rumored to be very in on Bijan Robinson at 8. So you clear both of those hurdles. And then the Raiders only have to come back 3 spots, and they could still take the quarterback of their choice. There's a very real possibility that they want Will Levis, that they want Anthony Richardson. Who knows? That, to me, makes the most sense. I think Detroit stays put. I think Detroit is going to be very, very interested in also taking a defensive player. That could be where Tyree Wilson ends up, but they also need some cornerback help. And I think my hope is that Devin Witherspoon is the pick by Detroit at 6. Anthony Richardson is the pick by Seattle at 5, leaving Philadelphia with at least one of the remaining 3 options, whether it's Carter, Will Anderson, or Tyree Wilson. That's how I see it going.
I agree. Yeah, I could definitely see it right there. Again, there's so much speculation and who knows what's going on. I mean, I even heard the rumor of, I don't know if you saw this, but the Texans having some sort of talks with the Patriots about trading away a draft pick, getting some extra draft capital, get Mac Jones. That seems absolutely ludicrous at this, but you never know. There's so much speculation of what's actually true and what's not. I can't imagine an organization like the Patriots with Belichick would give away any sort of information like that. But I don't know. We'll see on draft day. There's the speculation of how far is CJ Stroud going to fall? The S2 test that he absolutely bombed. I mean, we could. I'm curious to know what you think, because I tweeted it. I know, and I was like, did he intentionally do that? Because it was so far below every other. And I get, I understand test taking. For some people, it's not a great strength, and you can be really great whenever it comes to time to perform. But if you're in the classroom, the test taking, maybe not so well. And that's basically what Stroud said today. But what do you make of that? Because people are trying to say there's a drastic difference. I mean, if you're a GM and you see that, does that deter you from Stroud?
I'm trying to find the exact number. I think he was in the 18th percentile, which
18%. Yeah,
very, very low versus, we're talking about Will Levis was 96, Richardson was 79, Hendon Hooker was 46. That's interesting. And Bryce Young was in the 98th percentile. That's the problem here, because on one hand, I've seen CJ Stroud carve up the Georgia defense in a national college football semifinal game. And that to me is more important than an S2 test. But we're talking about not, Bryce Young at 98% and CJ Stroud at 90. It's 98% and then 18, right? That's the number. 18%. Yeah. That's a mega drop. I think
that's huge.
We all thought he was going to go number 2. I don't think he goes number 2. I think the question mark is really going to be where he ends up. I think he is kind of the litmus test, the non-defensive player litmus test early on in this draft to see if people are going to want to go ahead and trade up. Because think about this, and we're going to get to comments here in just one second. I see some people entering the jersey giveaway. Pause. But think about this. If this is Bryce Young at 1, and this is defensive players, and if Indy goes Will Levis, there's a lot of love about Will Levis late in this draft
there is
process. He's rising to the top.
He's the favorite, Vegas odds, favorite QB2 to be taken. So
right.
Will Levis.
And Seattle, maybe, but I think they take Richardson over Stroud just because of the wow factor of Richardson. Then you have this possible free fall from CJ Stroud, where if the Raiders don't touch him at 7, Atlanta's not going at 8. And they've said that, at least. I mean, they could be lying, but they've said that. It could be a free fall all the way down to 11 to Tennessee, who apparently is tired of Ryan Tannehill and hates Malik Willis, who they drafted last year. So that, to me, is going to be a fascinating part of tomorrow night, is how far will Stroud fall? And if he doesn't fall, then that means some team thinks, hey, the S2 test is not that important, and it'll be fine. A lot more on the draft, obviously. Let's go to some questions here. Let's get our first entry into the jersey giveaway of tonight. So if you don't know what's going on, we got 150 people watching right now. 1, hit the thumbs up button. 2, every super chat you drop tonight, $1 is 1 entry. So you could drop 1,000 entries tonight if you really wanted to. But you have a chance to win the Eagles first round draft picks jersey by just dropping a super chat. go ahead and subscribing to myself and Josh's channels. And then tomorrow night, after the Eagles make their first selection, we're going to have a little window there where you can get some additional draft entries in. But then we're going to spin the wheel on an online website that's randomized all the entries. We have that ready to go for tomorrow. And then whoever wins it is going to get the jersey. Now, it might take a couple of days for Fanatics to have the jersey, but we're going to contact you and make sure that we get you your jersey. So be sure to sub to both channels and get these entries in. Donatello Dragon pops us off tonight with 2 entries there. He has entered many times before, so he has way more than 2 entries. He says, y'all should get Philly Mike up in here. That'd be fun. I've had Philly Mike on the show. I think it would be a blast. I wouldn't be shocked if Philly Mike has his own stuff going on tonight, though. So we don't want to, interfere with people's plans. But Philly Mike would be a lot of fun. He's obviously he's one of the bigger Eagle channels on YouTube. I mean, I remember seeing his stuff at 2,000 subscribers. He's at 33,000 now. So shout out to Philly Mike. 2 entries for Donatello Dragon. And then how about David with a 20 entries in here? Notice the 20 entry gives you the Bijan Robinson Texas color. What's up, fellas? Looking for the draft day video. Honestly, if Anderson and Carter aren't there, then we shouldn't trade up. We should take Skoronski at 10 because we don't really know how well Cam Jurgens will do. Just Kelsey's word, end quote. This is a very, very good point. Josh, I'll let you answer it first, though. David, you got 2 more entries here. 20 more entries. You're entered in for the jersey giveaway. Really appreciate the super chat. Josh, answer this one because I have my own take on this. Give me your answer on this one.
Yeah, you probably know roughly where I'm going to go with this. So, I shared the live show link and I kind of put in the parentheses. I don't really endorse the Skoronski photo. Look, it's just not a very fun pick, but David's not wrong. I'll say it. He's not wrong because I have made the argument a couple of times. I'm not sure how the Eagles feel about Cam Jurgens. Now, I want to see him succeed, but there's this speculation and this rumor and all these offensive linemen that are having visits and how he's considering. And, an offensive lineman is going to be drafted. Like, that'll shock everyone if there's not an offensive lineman drafted. So that will happen. The question is, how early do you use draft capital to select an offensive lineman? Because I think, as we both have said on our shows, if you see Skoronski or just insert some other big name offensive lineman taken early, I think the writing's on the wall of what Philly thinks about Cam Jurgens today. Now, he could still prove people wrong because there's a lot of time between now and the regular season, but it makes sense, and I could definitely see it happening from Howie's perspective. Do I want to see the Eagles take Skoronski at 10? No, please not. There's a lot of other names I would like to see, even if Jalen Carter and Anderson are not there, because I think most likely Bijan will be there, so you know how I feel about that. But I think there's some other options too, just on the defensive side of the ball, or maybe we trade back. You could get some other draft capital there if you're not feeling great about anyone who's on the table at that point. I don't know. I just Skoronski as the first pick. It's not the sexy pick. It's not the fun pick. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
First off, I do want to say that Tyler Wallace asked, did Kelsey say he isn't confident in Jurgens? No. What David is referring to is the fact that Kelsey basically gave the blessing for the Eagles to draft Jurgens and was basically tasked by Philadelphia to look through the last year's draft prospects and find your replacement, and he picked Cam Jurgens. So they're very high on Cam Jurgens, but there is the question mark of guard. And you've heard people talk about, is he undersized? Is he too small to play right guard? I would argue he's just fine. He's not Landon Dickerson size. He's not as big as Jordan Mailata. I think he's going to be just fine at right guard. But here's the argument for Skoronski. And I put out a tweet that got a lot of views yesterday or 2 days ago, where I basically said, guys, you have to mentally prepare for Paris Johnson or Peter Skoronski. Like it's probably going to be one of those two. I have mentally prepared for it. That way, if it is one of those two guys, I will not be in tears like Josh will be tomorrow night, because Josh will be very upset because he wants Bijan Robinson. Obviously, all of us do. It's obviously the pick that we all want. But you must mentally prepare yourself for Howie Roseman to do Howie Roseman things. And Philadelphia has done a very good job the past couple of years on making sure they have people in place, either when injuries occur or when people retire. And I think the Eagles are looking at a situation on the offensive line where either Cam Jurgens will not be ready, or not be prepared to play guard this season, or Lane Johnson is closer to retirement than we think. I've said it all along. If they take Skoronski or they take Paris Johnson, especially the best tackle in this draft at 10, they're telling you Lane Johnson's not going to be here for 3 more years. He's going to be here for 1, maybe 2. And you got to mentally prepare for that. Even though it's not sexy, I don't want it. I think their offensive line is going to be great. You don't have to have the number 1 offensive line every single year. You can have the number 7 offensive line and still be very, very good. But mentally, you as an Eagle fan, I'm talking you watching right now, almost 200 of you guys, mentally prepare for it. That way you aren't disappointed, because I showed on my show yesterday, or was it today, that according to Jeremy Fowler, the Eagles think Skoronski's a gold jacket caliber player. That means Hall of Fame. And if he doesn't play this year and we wasted the pick, I'm going to be bummed just like you are. But if in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, he's wearing a gold jacket in Canton, then we might all go, I wasn't too sad about Paris Johnson or Peter Skoronski. So I'm not going to poo-poo it. I'll be bummed. I'm just not going to poo-poo it, because I think it's a very real possibility.
That's fair. I know. I've seen it's interesting, because you get, it's draft time. This is what we see all the time. You get arguments on both sides, but I've seen the argument of Skoronski's arms are too short, which is by what, like half an inch or an inch. You could make all sort of analytics. Like, it's like, okay, he's not like crazy short arms. Yes, he's shorter than your average, but I don't know. There's all sorts of argument. But then at the same time, like you mentioned, someone who's going to wear a gold jacket. I've seen Zach Martin comps, which that would be insane. So if you're telling me Zach Martin's there at 10, then please sign me up for it. But I don't know. That's the beauty of the draft. You just never know for sure, and you can get both sides of the argument for just about every prospect. So I don't know. It's still, as of today, not one that I would love to see. There's other options, but I don't know.
I don't want it. Like I would rather have Bijan. I want a pass rusher first and foremost. Like, I'm totally against taking these guys. I'm not advocating for it. I just want to make sure that if it comes across the screen at 10, A, I don't freak out. And B, I also remember we have 30 overall. Howie Roseman's our GM, and 12 draft picks next year. So it's not the end of the world. Okay, a lot of super chats coming in right now. A lot of entries into the jersey giveaway. We got a couple more here. First from Dirty D. Big Sills wants Bijan in Philadelphia. 2 entries here from Dirty D. We appreciate that very, very much. We all want Bijan Robinson. Come on. There is not an Eagle fan out there that can look you straight in the eye and say, I don't want Bijan Robinson in this offense. That doesn't sound fun at all. What a waste of a pick. We all want him. And we all did a video this past week, yesterday, about Bijan being asked what quarterback he'd rather play with. Who did he say, Josh?
Oh, yes. He said Mr. Jalen Hurts.
Yes, and
that was a very easy answer.
Yes,
and he didn't say Dak. Didn't even list Dak in his top 5. There's a video today that came out. He said, who's your top 5? Or that was CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was top 5. Sorry, I'm getting those confused. But still, yes, you ask which quarterback aside from Patrick Mahomes. And it's very quick, easy answer. Jalen Hurts. I love it.
Very quick and easy answer. We all want him. Trust me. We all want him. We're going to say that 8 more times tonight, but we all want him. Dirty D, 2 entries. Josh has you down. Donatello Dragon with his unusual 5 entries here. He's been a 2-entry guy through and through. Very 2-entry purist. Donatello Dragon says that Jalen Hurts IG draft video, which I did see, it is good, had me hyped. Watched it at least 50 times. I'm biased because I'm an OU fan. Let's go 5. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, first thing I will say, Josh and I both went to Baylor, and I remember watching Jalen Hurts be down big against us at OU in Waco a couple of years ago. Came all the way back and stood on the bench and flexed in front of the Baylor crowd, and I hated the guy. Now he's an Eagle, so, all's forgiven, but
it's interesting. They were down 28-3, and you can think of another team that was down 28-3. It's just a very random score, but we lost that one. Not as big as losing the Super Bowl, I guess, but I still remember that.
It's all good. We love Jalen Hurts. I would take him carving up Baylor any day of the week to make sure that he would be an Eagle for life, and he is. 5 entries for Donatello Dragon. Let's go through some more here. David, 10 more. I love Bijan at 10. Last player that passionate about playing with a certain team was Micah Parsons. Look how he turned out. Bijan at 10. All caps, please no Skoronski. It does feel like David
I'm with you,
wants
David.
to be an Eagle. I think this is Josh's burner here. I think Josh typed this because you can't see his hands right now.
You see me keep looking down.
Josh is David rocks 100%. David, 10 more entries. We appreciate you. Listen, I agree. I just will be so shocked. You will see my jaw hit the floor if it's Bijan at 10. My jaw will hit.
I can't wait. Floor. I really can't. I so much want that to happen
because it'd be so fun. But it's gonna be like, to me, I'm getting less and less hopeful that it's him. Less and less hopeful. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
I'm not to the point to where I've said it many times. Yes, I'm full on board with Bijan Robinson. But if Howie's gonna do it, like the percentage chance that I feel like is 25% chance, maybe, and that may be a little bit aggressive too. I can't in a universe with Howie Roseman making picks. I know the reports of the Eagles were considering Christian McCaffrey before he got taken, and these other running backs. So maybe, but still, it's like this news is coming out a day before the draft starts. So is that legit news, or is that news that's been leaked by Howie intentionally to get people to say, oh, they're interested in Bijan, they're actually going to take him? So I don't know. It's trying to read between the lines and figure out what's going on here. We have no clue, but yes, I'm personally all for it.
You wonder if Jalen Hurts has any say. Now, they're not going to call him and say, hey, tell us who you want. But they've been in the same facility. They're at OTAs this week. I'm sure they bumped into each other. What if Jalen Hurts says, hey, Howie, like, I think 5's pretty good. Like, I think me and 5 could do some serious damage.
Hopefully.
I wonder what
Hopefully.
Howie would say.
Hey,
Say,
he has the same
"No,
agent.
We're getting you Peter Skoronski. Shut up." Or, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
He's got the same agent. Come on.
Dude, Peter Skoronski is going to hate every single Eagles content creator that exists because none of us want him, and he's going to turn out to be great, and we're all going to look like idiots. But whatever. Andrea has entered into the chat. Andrea, we appreciate you greatly with 20 more entries into the jersey giveaway. What's up, fellas? What's up, Andrea? Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Thomas, I am not mentally prepared for that. Laughy face, go Birds. She's talking about Skoronski, as I told you guys earlier.
Love it.
Mentally prepared, but she, like Josh, have not mentally prepared for disappointment in case that.
And you know what? That's great. I personally advocate for don't prepare for it mentally. It's not as fun that way. Get it all amped up with who you actually want.
Oh, man.
Stay even keel here. Come on. This is Christmas Eve. Are you when at Christmas Eve are you even keel? Like, come on. You all get amped up, excited, anticipation. Don't tell me that, I'm getting a box of coal. Okay, I'm maybe not comparing Peter Skoronski to a box of coal.
No, don't do that.
Still, okay.
Yeah.
I want, the shiny new toy with Bijan Robinson, the offense here. I think that's what everybody wants to see. So I'm excited. I'm hyped. I can't wait.
Every Christmas Eve from about 10 years old to about 16 years old, all I wanted was an Xbox 360. My mom was so against game consoles. We never had one. We had to go to friends' houses to get it. And there was one Christmas Eve where I was convinced there was going to be an Xbox 360 under the tree. And we always had one gift unwrapped. And so it'd be like, we come down at 2 a.m. There's the gift. It was going to be the Xbox. And it wasn't. It was one of those super old NFL games that you play in your hand with the green screen and the ball that moved forward.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so disappointed because she joked saying, here's your Xbox. And it was crushing to me. Bijan Robinson is the Xbox. Peter Skoronski is the video game.
There's the equivalent.
Handheld. Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly what it is.
So that's why you're trying to, to manage the expectations. I can understand a little bit more. Okay, that's fair enough. But get excited again. Build up the anticipation.
I'm trying to build it up. Tony is excited about it. He gets a $20 entry into our jersey giveaway. I don't even know if Tony has entered yet. Josh will confirm, but Tony is getting 20 entries here. He says, hey, guys, first time, so 20 entries. There you go. Pretty good odds there. Hey, guys, is there a player you guys would hate to see land in the NFC East? I know seeing Bijan go to Dallas would be as painful as drafting Rager ahead of Jefferson. Just interesting. Other teams dreading Bijan to Philly. Well, Bijan's the obvious answer here. Is there another player? I do think Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon are going to be elite corners. I think this is the draft where we would be talking about them if there wasn't this crazy dynamic of quarterbacks and Bijan didn't exist and there were 3 good pass rushers. Like, we'd be talking about Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon. We talked about it before you brought back James Bradbury and Darius Slay. Those are 2 guys that I don't want to see in the NFC East. I don't think they will, just based on where Washington is and the Giants. I don't think it's going to happen. For me, it's those 2. Because anyone else, Will Anderson's not going to be a Cowboy. It's impossible. Jalen Carter's not going to be a Commander. It's impossible, right? Tyree Wilson, most likely not. It really is Bijan. And for me, it's probably those cornerbacks. Although, and Jigba from Ohio State, he's scary too. And you wouldn't want to see him in a Commander offense, albeit Sam Howell's throwing to him. So maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. There's not anyone that's absolutely jumps out at me. And, you really talk about like, okay, where's the competition? I mean, probably from the Cowboys. So if I'm thinking immediate impact, a player to go to a team and makes me a little bit more scared. It's not, there's nothing the level of Bijan. I don't think there's any equivalent to the level of Bijan, like you mentioned. Maybe a Dalton Kincaid. I know that the Cowboys are in the tight end market. And if you get a really top tight end like that, but I don't know that he's going to be available by 26. But if somehow he went there, it helps their team, but it still doesn't just like terrify it. I don't know. I don't think there's another player like that.
Bijan would obviously be the one because we all love Bijan, and then immediately having to hate Bijan, those draft 5 hats would be pretty worthless if he's a Dallas Cowboy. Let's just say that.
That would be hard.
Ramos is going to go ahead and make a comment here. He says, I don't want Bijan at 10. Ramos, you're in a big minority there, but there are other people that don't want him either. You think it'd be fun, right? Classic Production says Bijan in Dallas would suck. Giants getting Smith, the wide receiver from Ohio State, would suck too. Commies, I don't care. IDK. Well, yeah, I don't know who the Commanders want. The Commanders are a great football team. If I could see them being very shocking tomorrow and trade up for a quarterback, because you think about that offense, and the defense is pretty good too. If they were to get a competent quarterback or hit on somebody, they could be serious versus the situation where they're at with Sam Howell, who maybe he's good, maybe he's not. But I don't know if any of us really think Sam Howell's that great because he couldn't beat out Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz was pretty darn right.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I kind of sense maybe that it's like let's see what we can do with the first 4 or 5 games of the season, and I'm talking about the Commanders here. And then if it just so doesn't happen to go our way, then that's not so bad. Let's unofficially tank for the first overall pick. Remember, Caleb Williams is probably going to be the first overall pick. He's from DC. He's a Commanders fan. Like, that seems to be a very easy fix there, or a fit from that team. So I don't know. It for a while I was like, okay, why in the world would Ron Rivera say we're set at quarterback position? We're not considering Lamar Jackson. We're not considering really any big name free agent. But if you say, yeah, it's a little bit of a long-term play here, let's get new ownership, get the cap figured out, draft our franchise quarterback next year, I could see it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to work, the Caleb Williams factor, because Caleb Williams is apparently the greatest quarterback to come out since sliced bread. So we will see. Pause. We're at 62 likes. We have 200 people watching. If you're watching right now, 2 seconds, hit the thumbs up button.
Quick thumbs up.
More people can see it. That's the whole point of the thumbs up button. David Rocks jumping in here for another 5 on the entry. Taking Skoronski at 10 is the equivalent of Cowboy fans hearing Stephen A. Smith the day after a loss. Yeah, that's a good point. First take the day after a Cowboy loss is must-see TV. It's good stuff. He wears a cowboy hat and he walks in there with a cigar. That's good stuff.
I love that.
Sean says, everyone, including me, wants the sexy pick at 10, meaning Bijan. Should Carter not make it to 10? Preparing for the meh choice of Skoronski or Van Ness. Van Ness would be a very meh choice, in my opinion. Now, Van Ness could turn out to be great. He feels like Derek Barnett all over again, because Derek Barnett, you drafted him and you tried to convince yourself he was going to be good, and he never really was. So I agree with that one. Matthew Bear with a $49.99 super chat. How about 50 entries for Matthew into our jersey giveaway here? Again, make sure you guys are subbed to both channels. I'm so close to 11K subs, I could hit it tonight. Josh already hit 3K subs. He's flying up the board right now. Be sure to sub to both of our channels, because we're going to check when we select the winner. If you're not subbed, you're out of luck. I'd be happy with Skoronski, but despite how we constantly picking O-line, I just have a strong feeling he's going to pick D-line or Bijan. Listen, Matthew, we are 100% with you. If you want to take Matthew's side here, just take an O-lineman in the second round. Every single Eagle fan who wants Bijan would gladly take whoever you think the best offensive lineman is with the second round draft pick, and you give him to Jeff Stoutland. He's a lot higher draft pick than, say, Jordan Mailata way back at the bottom. So you would assume a second round draft pick could be turned into a starter. Let's just do that, huh? That's fine by me. You give me Bijan, you give me some sort of pass rusher, or maybe a safety with the second first round draft pick, and then an offensive lineman in round 2. Great. I'm having a blast this weekend.
Yep, I agree with you, but it's I don't know. I agree, and I think that if you're gonna go O-line like you're talking about there, yeah, just do it a little bit later because of the Stoutland cheat code, and that's kind of the MO. Like, it depends, I guess, where you would classify an offensive lineman like a Skoronski. Is he officially a guard? Is he a tackle? Where are you going to play him? But what is it? Since, I think I saw a tweet on it, 2004 was the last time the Eagles took, was it a first round guard? I think 2004, and then 2010 for a tackle, if I'm not mistaken, 2012, whatever it was. I think I saw that tweet. But it's been a while. There's not been the first round draft capital used on certainly a guard. I can't remember the year for the tackle off the top of my head, but it's still been a while. And so you think about, is Howie going to use that, or is he going to say, yeah, let's wait until a little bit later in the draft and go D-line here or Bijan, like Matthew mentioned. So I would be much in favor of that, obviously. But again, it still wouldn't shock me if Howie says, you know what, we got our franchise quarterback. There's nothing better than protecting and having insurance on that investment. So it's not a terrible pick. It wouldn't be a bad pick.
Okay, my girlfriend has texted me watching the show. Shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Paige. She's saying we missed a super chat. I'm going back through, and I'm not seeing... Oh, there it is. Okay, Demi, we're so sorry. Thank you to my girlfriend for saving. Demi has a two entry into our jersey giveaway here, and she just did another one, or he, excuse me. Either way, Demi, shout out to my girlfriend, Paige, for catching this. We drafting Bijan and Carter. Well, Demi, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, but we would all love you if that is the case, because the Eagles would be unbelievably good. You talk about an A+ draft rating, but 2 entries for Demi there, and then go down to the bottom here. Demi has this one for 5 more. Is it possible to get Bijan and Carter? The answer is probably not. I mean, we talk about draft scenarios all the time on both of our channels. Geez, it's very unlikely. Let's just
very difficult. That. Probably very not impossible, but very difficult.
Not easy.
I think some GMs would have to be asleep at the table to let the Eagles get both of those impact players. But
That would
I don't
take
know.
Carter falling to 10, which is very unlikely, and then Bijan falling into the late 20s to where you could bump up from 30 to
Well,
25.
yeah, or yeah, I mean, I guess the most realistic and still it's impossible to me would be if Jalen Carter somehow magically fell to 10. You take him at 10, and then you wait until 15 or 16 and say we're not waiting any longer. Jump up and get Bijan, and you trade away. You trade 30, and next year a couple draft selections. However you can do to move up to that. I think that'd be the only realistic option. But you're definitely giving up a lot of capital for sure. Either way, to get that or make that happen, that's wishful thinking. But hey, you know what? If we can get that, yes, sign me up.
Shout out to Demi for getting what is that? That's 7.
Got you down,
7 entries in. Really appreciate that in their jersey giveaway. This is a non super chat. We'll throw it up anyway. Real Philly Streets. I just found the dude on the right, but I like his channel. There you go. Dude on the right. Well, it's Josh Davis, the Philly Special Show, and you should like his channel. Josh's channel has grown faster than any Eagle channel in the history of YouTube. I mean, it's skyrocketing up there, and there's many reasons why. One, his voice is a lot more soothing than mine, and two, I think the editing is fantastic. And you notice that I've been copying Josh and trying to up my editing on my channel because I watched Josh's show a couple days ago where he texted me, "Hey, I've been working on my editing." And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to sit here and, edit for another 2 hours. Editing takes forever, by the way. All the little stuff you see on our shows, it does not
take a while.
But Josh pushed me on that one. So shout out to Josh because my editing was very minimal to get the shows out. And then I watched Josh's and I was like, geez, this is really good. So then I had to get my editing up too. But yes, yeah, sub to Josh's channel. Sub to Josh's channel. Okay, let's get back to where we were on all of this. Cool Rain says, can we get 11K for Thomas during the live show? That's subs. I don't know if I'm at that point. I'm pretty darn close.
I was going to say,
I'm at 10,953. So I'm going to need about 47 more subs. So if you're not subbed, I'd appreciate that. Okay, more comments. And then we're also going to get into, obviously, a pick-by-pick mock draft. Josh and I are going to go dueling picks here for the first round in a little bit. Let's see. If we don't draft Bijan, do you think it's possible we trade for a running back? There are two. There's Derrick Henry, and then there's Austin Eckler. And the Eckler, rumors have died down a bunch, but Eckler still wants a new contract, not happy with the Chargers, and it's a really good player. I just don't really want somebody that has the wear and tear. That's the problem with Henry and Eckler. They're great. They'd be totally fantastic in this offense. But Josh, we're talking about guys who are 29 years old. Eckler's at least 26, 27, and they've been worked like a horse at the Chargers facility in terms of carries and touches. Wouldn't you rather have Bijan, who has, a couple touches at Texas, and other than that has fresh legs, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. You don't even have to really ask me that, I don't think. But yes, to answer your question officially, Henry has, 1750 total carries so far. Now, he's a beast, and I'm not saying that he's going to fall off this year or even in the next couple years, maybe, but you still start to question. I mean, at some point, you do see a dip in NFL running back. It's just a fact. I don't know what that number is exactly, but when you start seeing running backs that have 300-plus carries in multiple seasons, that is usually where you start to see the decline. And Henry's had it for 3 seasons, I believe, and he's obviously been injured in one of those, and he came back incredibly last year. So all props to him. And I think, if you were to get him this year, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that it just automatically makes this offense crazy ridiculous, and more so than it is already. But it seems like even a shorter term play. Some people are arguing like, hey, we shouldn't get Bijan because it's short-sighted. And it's 4 years at a minimum. It's 4 years with a 5th-year option. And you got a player who, like you just said, is fresh legs. I would love to see that. That's who I would want to see on the team. It's because I think if you get a Derrick Henry, you're not getting him realistically saying to yourself, hey, we got this guy for 4 or 5 years. Even if you restructure a contract, make it work financially, in your head, you're not thinking to yourself, this guy's going to be top tier for 4 to 5 years. You're just not. I don't think he has enough miles on the tread left to be able to do that. So I'm in favor of Bijan all day.
Trey says, Lamau at the voice comment. Listen, I read your guys' comments on my show. I don't think I don't read them. Huss23 has 2 entries into the jersey giveaway. You think we get Bijan and Kancey? A lot more realistic than Bijan and Jalen Carter. Kancey's going to be fascinating because I don't know how many people have first-round grades on Kalijah Kancey. His draft stock shot up about a month ago. It's since come back down. Size is obviously a question. What teams has he met with is another question we talked about on the last show. But Kancey at 30 could be kind of, I guess, Howie's makeup pick if he has to spend 10 on a running back. And I roll my eyes like Howie probably does, thinking about taking a running back at 10. But you could still get some interior defensive pass rushing help with Kancey. So it's a possibility for sure.
Yep. He has seemed to die down, and maybe that's since the report, like you just kind of alluded to, of He hasn't officially met with anyone. That's kind of weird. I don't know what his thinking is there. But yeah, I think it's realistic you could. I just question is, does Howie do it? Or is Cansey one of those guys that, everyone, hey, crazy hype, had a ridiculous combine, all of a sudden he's available late second round, third round? Does he,
Could be.
does he slide because he didn't visit with teams? I don't know. It'd be shocking, but it's we've seen it before. Kobe Dean sliding a lot further than people thought he would.
Demi A, 2 more here. Great channel, both of y'all. I look forward to videos. We appreciate that. We're trying to
Yep.
We're trying to be two of the content creators that really puts a lot of effort into post production. We both talked about that privately. That post production is really important. And today's society, we're both trying to be a lot more clean, streamlined shows that are fun to watch as well. So we appreciate you guys noticing.
And we won't give it away necessarily, but just a quick tease here too. There is a lot of stuff because Thomas and I talk pretty much every single day. Things we have planned for this upcoming off-season season. Like, it's going to be crazy. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Not to give it away, but
this won't be the last giveaway we do tomorrow. Let's say that. We're going to be doing a lot more of that because you guys have been loving the jersey giveaway, and we're excited to give away jersey, but there's a lot more coming up. John Crawford said, how true is the Henry rumor? I don't think it's very true. I mean, they asked the Titan GM a couple days ago, has anyone called you about Derrick Henry? He said no. Now, he can lie. He's not, hooked up to a lie detector there, but I'd be surprised. It would have to be like a 5th round draft pick and a big contract restructuring that is cheap for the Eagles for it to happen.
Yeah, I would be shocked. But Rand Carthon's not going to give it away, like you say. He's you hold all your cards close to the vest. You're not going to say anything around draft time unless you actually want certain things to get out there. But if a deal's getting done, I don't know what Akbar Baja-Biamila, the guy who broke the news officially or unofficially, obviously, but like, I get it's in the age of, just anything can be true. It's all rumor, what's real, what's not. But like, it's weird, like you're kind of ruining your reputation. It's if you did it about like some no name, it's like, okay, kind of a speculative trade, no big deal. Like, this is Derrick Henry and like to the Eagle. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. He not only put it out there and then like backed it up. Some fans commented and all of a sudden he's like, okay, well, wait, see basically, how you're wrong or I was right on this. So I don't know. I would love to know the extra story. And, if we see something crazy on draft night, I guess he was right. But it's just a very odd look for a guy he's in the spotlight and he hosts Ninja Warrior. I know that's not, and he used to be in the NFL with the NFL Network, but I don't know, just strange. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we could do a viral rumor like that because his tweet had over 1 million views. Like, could I tweet out that a source told me that the Eagles are trying to trade for somebody, and would it go viral? I think you could, as long as you have a little bit of a reputation. I don't know.
But then you might be ruined too, Because then it's like, because he had, and I guess these guys probably still follow him. I don't know after this, do you still follow a guy like that? But I think whenever I checked, he had Adam Schefter, he had Phil Yates, like a lot of NFL insider information guys following him. So I don't know if that was after the tweet or not. I got there kind of late, but still, just to have that type of a following, and then like you mentioned, blew up. You're risking it because now anything else you say, it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, okay, it wasn't true, it wasn't accurate. So I don't know.
I had one of those. The only time I've ever had a scoop was I knew somebody who was very well connected in the National Football League corners. He sat in draft rooms. Like, it was very much a legit source. And he told me that the 49ers 3 years ago had called about Jalen Ramsey. And I put it out there. I said, hey, listen, this is what we're hearing. And that tweet blew up pretty big, but it also had a couple people who were well-known deny it. They say that's not happened. So, but who's to say? It's not like they're asking everybody. They're asking their specific source in their specific room. Is this true? If the source doesn't know about it, he'll say no, and then, they push back. So I don't know. But I've never really broken anything, and I don't think I will anytime soon. Chris Scott says, hey, guys. Hey, Chris, how are you? We got a lot of comments here. Again, thumbs up. We're at 100 likes. We're trying to get to 200 here. So we got a bunch of people joining, a lot of people entering the jersey giveaway here. You still have time. Tonight and then a little bit of time tomorrow. Tonight's the night to do it. Let's go through some more here. No King Henry, too much fat stacks against this cap for a 29-year-old player with an injury history. It's not crazy. Tyler Wallace, and then we'll get to some of the jersey entries here. Tyler Wallace says, Thomas, what time is the live for the draft tomorrow? Josh, we have not talked about what time you want to go live tomorrow. The draft starts at 8. Do you want to go live at 7 or 7:30? Let's just decide right now.
You know what? Yeah, let's do
7:30. I think so too.
If that works. Yeah,
we're just be live for like 6
live for a
hours.
long time. Yeah.
7:30, we'll get a little bit of hype, and then they'll start, and the picks will start to roll in. There you go. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have that up on my channel as soon as this show ends, so be sure to jump in on that. Okay, jersey entry giveaways. Jake Tower. I think Jake, it's just might be his first time entering. I'm not sure. Josh has the master sheet here. He's going to confirm 2 entries for Jake. There you go. Love the content, guys. Jake, we appreciate that. We very much appreciate that. We're trying to up the content game here. We're definitely trying to up the content game, much to the distress of my editing skills, which are not that great and have been taking a lot of work. Husk says, I think Branch or Nolan Smith will be available at pick 30. Husk gets 5 more entries. I think Branch will. I think someone will take Nolan Smith. I think Smith is going to be a team pick, a team, between 10 and 21 who needs a pass rusher. He's got a lot of potential, maybe to be a really quick version of Hassan Reddick. Sure, I think he's an option for Philly at 10. You've heard those reports, but I think Smith will be gone by 30. I think Branch is probably a lot more likely. I think Josh would agree.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I think that Nolan Smith, to your point, he'll be gone earlier, and it's questionable because you see people talk about like he hasn't put the production hasn't been on the field. You can see his game tape, you can see his athleticism. He was more focused in run stopping at Georgia. They didn't necessarily let him just pin his ears back and go get the quarterback. So the tools seem to be there, but it's always hard to say, okay, we're speculating on the tools and what he could be. And there's a lot of comps of saying, hey, he could be like a Micah Parsons. Obviously, if he's that, he's a lock, but it's a copycat league, and you're trying to say, okay, well, is he going to be the next Micah Parsons or is he not? And then where's the question going to be? But I think for that very reason, yeah, you'll probably see him. I agree, kind of the mid-teens, somewhere around there. Brian Branch, I think, is more likely. Yeah. I could still see him going before 30, but yeah, if I had to pick between the two, I think it's more likely that Branch would be there.
Branch should be, if they went running back and then safety in the first round, the 2 positions they never touch in the first round. Wild, really wild.
Would that be the most shocking? I guess here's the question: what 2 positions? And that may be it, but what 2 positions? And you have to do different in the first round would shock you the most if they
running back and wide receiver. If they somehow did a wide receiver, which I got there was the whole report this week that they're doing late homework on Jackson Smith and Jigba, and it's like, okay, I get it, slot guy. He was incredible before last year, and then the injury. You just don't need him.
Nope. I think it hurts your team more than it helps it. And that may be a very hot take, but mouths to feed. I'm just saying, mouths to feed. And AJ Brown, he didn't say that he gets angry in it, but he said, hey, no matter what, I'm always wanting more. That's just his mentality. So you got to be careful. Receivers want the ball. They need the ball. There's only so many mouths to feed.
Yeah. Speaking of mouths to feed, Dave is feeding us for like the next 3 weeks here with his $49.99 donation. Dave, you're the man. 50 entries. He says, love your show, Thomas. Josh, I just started watching your show a couple of weeks ago. Really enjoying your content. Draft 5.
Appreciate that, Dave.
Dave, there you go. Shout out for Josh's content. He's over 3,000 subs. Josh will be at 10,000 subs at least by the start of the season, and it could be a lot more. People are starting to find Josh pretty consistently here, and it's skyrocketing the channel. So, Dave, we appreciate you finding him. So, to both the channels, Dave has 50 entries just tonight into the jersey giveaway. Incredible stuff. We appreciate that, Dave. Let's see here. Classic Production says, chance of Budda Baker trade tomorrow night.
Possible, I guess.
I don't know.
What are you going to give away? 3rd round pick, maybe?
Yeah, it won't be a first round draft pick.
No.
I don't know.
It's all the speculation. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because of all the hype and all the speculation that it got in the first place. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, you could make the argument, well, okay, it's died down. Like, we haven't continued to hear about it. We've heard little inklings and rumors, but everything else is blowing up. And now we're not hearing about Budda Baker. Right. So maybe, the whole AJ Brown thing, we can go back to that. We go back to referencing other situations. You think it's impossible. Nothing is going to happen. And then, how he pulls a trick out of his sleeve to actually go and draft someone or to trade and get someone like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Percentage wise, if you had to put a percentage on it, what are you saying? Like a possibility for the trade? 15? Okay. Yeah,
and it wouldn't happen tomorrow. It would happen on day 2 because they would give up a day 2 pick.
Yeah.
That's kind of my take on it. So we will see. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, I saw Pac-Man Jones on the Oh, McAfee show today. His sources are saying the Dhop trade is either going to happen tonight or tomorrow, and that the Bills and Chiefs are the two teams battling for DeAndre Hopkins. So, if they trade Dhop, they'd probably trade Budda too, because both guys want to go win a chip, and Seattle's not, or the Cardinals aren't going to do it. So, take that for what you will. But Pac-Man Jones now has sources, so everybody has sources. Josh Rusiano maybe says, what do you guys think about the Commanders hearing offers for Chase Young? I didn't see they were hearing offers. I see they weren't picking up his fifth-year option, which I guess is kind of where we're drawing the conjunction here for that. But Chase Young is great, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and that's the fear, I think. You don't pick up the fifth-year option on a second overall pass rusher pick, red flags really start to kind of rise in my mind, because he was supposed to be the guy. It was like Clowney 2.0, and never really turned into anything.
Yeah.
So
and he won defensive rookie of the year, his rookie season. So he had the productivity his first year, but then to your point, it's the injuries, it's the recovery. He obviously has not and still probably not showing signs, because they're not picking up that option. There's always speculation and rumors. I do feel like, so going to Josh's comment, I feel like he will get traded. That wouldn't shock me if he gets traded on draft night. I think that you could definitely see it. I think one of the last teams that he will get traded to would be the Eagles. I would love to see it, because I still think that you could trade something very late, like a fifth round maybe, and get him. But you're not going to trade to a division rival, because if he does anything, then you've lost your job basically, because someone will say, what, you traded away our player there and they went to a division rival. It's unlikely, I think, for that to happen. But if you traded for fourth or fifth, I could see him to go to another team, and the potential is still there. I don't think the teams would rule him out completely. A team will give him a shot because he was drafted so high, but it does, to your point, it brings up some speculation on, is he not healing properly? Is he not recovering properly? Or is it just a mental issue right now?
John Coverdale says, hey guys, love your show. Let's get Bijan. There you go. That's not bad.
Yes.
Tyler Wallace, Bijan with our O-line is a match made in heaven. This is true. Bijan behind our line, it's like a Bugatti on the open highway. How about that? I'm actually in the market for a new car or a car. I'm selling my current car. Maybe should I get a Bugatti?
Are you a Bugatti? Okay, man. You are making a lot more money than I thought you were.
Yeah. No, YouTube is crazy. It's all these donations tonight. It's gotten me in Bugatti. Maybe what would it cost to buy a Bugatti and then or loan a Bugatti, or put a loan down for a Bugatti? What would your weekly payment be? It would have to be like insane. I don't know if I can afford that.
I don't know.
Jeez. Yeah.
You're doing very well off. If you all of a sudden post like an Instagram pic of Bugatti,
if I was driving a Bugatti, I don't know if I'd be doing a YouTube show every single day. I might take a couple days off to be in, Italy or something. But what are you gonna say? Okay. Please no Dhop or Budda to the Chiefs. Yeah, let's hope that Budda doesn't go, or either of them goes to the Chiefs. Cool Rain says you should retire, Thomas, so you have that money. Yeah, I wouldn't be working my day job if I had that sort of money. Not at all. Oh my goodness. Everyone hit the thumbs up button. Okay, let me ask Josh this question. Do we do our draft simulator right now? And we'll keep answering questions as we go. Josh and I have been wanting to do, we've been saying that we were going to do this.
I say let's do it
for a very long time. Oh, he's gone. Where's Josh? There he is. So essentially, we want to use the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator, and we're going to simulate the first round. We're going to do alternating picks though, and we're going to try to take our best guess as to what happens. Are we going to do trades here or no?
I know that trades are likely on draft night. It always gets to be ridiculous whenever you do trades. So we'll look.
Okay, I think I have this right. I've selected everybody. One round. We'll do fast, but we get to pick every single one. So the question is: are you the first? Are you one? Are you evens or odds? Let's
first comment in the comment section. Say who's drafting first, Thomas or Josh. Whoever comments first is going to pick first.
Obviously, even gets to draft the Eagles pick. So let's see what happens. First comment. Wait for the first comment to see who gets to pick first. And this is going to be our best guesses, not who we would want. Best guesses. Someone said Thomas. Okay, so that means Josh gets the Eagles. You guys see what you did there? You gave Josh the Eagles pick. Okay.
Thank you.
So obviously Bijan Robinson. Okay, number one overall. It will be Bryce Young. Obviously, not even close. Resume. How do I do this? Okay, Bryce Young. Boom, 1. That's my best guess.
There you go. Okay, Texans are up. I'm gonna go Will Anderson.
Okay, that's a pretty good guess. I think Carter but Will Anderson. Okay, if I'm Arizona at this point, I could see Tyree Wilson going here. And I think that's mainly because they want the edge rush help, not the DT help. This could be Carter. I will go Tyree Wilson 3.
Okay. All right. Colts are up now. We kind of talked about this a second ago, but I think that Will Levis is getting a lot more of that recent buzz. So I'm going to say Will Levis. I think the Colts like him.
I would agree with that pick. Let's just pause really quickly. Donatello Dragon, he's getting a Bugatti Fund donation. You're too kind.
I mean, at least it started. So
2 entries.
Long way to go.
I appreciate that very much, Donatello Dragon. You got 2 more entries here. Brandon West says Bugatti payment is $77,000 per month with $830 pay down. Oh my goodness gracious. What do you do to be able to afford that? I don't know. But there you go. Okay. I'm 5. Okay. This is either going to be Jalen Carter or Anthony Richardson. I'm going to say that this is probably Jalen Carter. Pete Carroll is a defensive guy. They've been very high on Carter basically all offseason. Who else would this be if it's not a quarterback or Carter? That's the problem. I don't know who else it's going to be. So I'm going to do it. I'll say Carter goes 5.
Okay, I like it. This is, I feel like this is a pretty easy pick. Again, you go back to the Jeff Okudah trade, and I could see the Lions here. We're not doing any trades either. So if they were to consider to move back, in this instance here, I think they try to double dip, I guess, for a corner or try again on a cornerback, see if they can hit this time. So let's give him Devin Witherspoon.
Devin Witherspoon. Okay. I think this could be trade back territory too, but yes. Okay. Raiders at 7. This to me feels like the place where I would go for Stroud, because they have an established guy in Jimmy Garoppolo, but they also need to sell seats in the future because it's Vegas. So you get your quarterback now, and he doesn't have to start immediately, but could towards the end of the year, right? Unless, I mean, do the Raiders need offensive line help? Am I able to? That's the question. I don't know if they need offensive line help, because you could go Paris Johnson here if you really wanted to protect.
They might. I mean, at that point, it's 7.
Let's just do it. Although the problem is
Jimmy G, and
if this is Paris Johnson, which I just did. How far is Stroud falling in this mock draft? Because do you have him going 8 to Atlanta? He did meet with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. It's tough though, because if he's still available and they didn't have to trade anything, and you got the option of a quarterback in the first round, maybe.
What do you think? 8 for their Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's a difficult decision there. If they're there at 8, and they apparently they like Skoronski as well. Like, that's another name if they're going to go offensive lineman. But you just took Paris Johnson. Man, I'm going to go. Let's go Stroud. I think at this point trades are definitely going to happen in the draft, but let's go Stroud. We're not trading.
Someone just said team needs is right there. I appreciate whoever said that. Hyper squad. Let's just see. Did the Raiders do need offensive line? Okay, that's what I thought. I'm not an idiot. All right, so this we've hit Bijan territory, because there's talks of the Falcons. There's talks too of Chicago, which I'm not going to do and, make Josh's life miserable. I think this is where you see another offensive lineman go off the board, and I could really see this be Skoronski. And just to confirm the team needs for the where are they? The Bears. They need offensive tackle, wide receiver, edge, defensive tackle. Maybe Njigba, but they also got that really good trade for what's his face. I'm blanking on the Carolina Panther receiver. Let's go offensive line. Let's go ahead and give them Peter Skoronski. That way they can have more help for Justin Fields, who definitely is going to need some offensive line help. So now for the shocker of the night, where will Josh go?
Who am I going to take?
I don't know.
Who should I take? I have no clue here.
Goodness gracious.
So the question is, should I just go ahead and take him because everyone knows that I'm going to take him, or should I pick who I think Howie would do in this instance? If I can't trade,
pick
I think
Bijan
Howie.
And tell us what Howie would do.
Okay. Give me Bijan.
Okay.
And then I think here, if he's forced to not trade, I think he would trade back. In this instance, if this is who's on the board, I think he's going to try to trade back, see what he can get. He may not. But with this board, again, I'm kind of going based on reports here, so maybe they're all smoke screens. But I sadly think it would be a Lucas Van Ness. I would hate to see that. But if he can't trade back, it seems like Lucas Van Ness is getting a lot of traction there, and I would not like to see that.
Okay, Tennessee at 11. I would throw Miles Murphy into the ring for Philly at 10 if it's not Bijan. Tennessee at 11, I think we would have seen a trade up. I think this is the Anthony Richardson pick. I think Tennessee just confirmed they're going to have a brand new stadium, which is like $780 billion, or not billion, whatever it is, $1 million, not billion. It's insane. This to me would say you got to go get your quarterback for that stadium. We'll go Anthony Richardson at 11.
All right, makes
Now,
sense.
the Texans. Remember, the Texans got Will Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
The Texan needs our quarterback, edge, wide receiver, guard, and center, but there isn't really a quarterback left on the board right now with Richardson going 11. So what do you do?
See, they're upset a little bit right now because they were hoping to get Anthony Richardson, I think, if he was still on the board at that point. Based on the board, though, right now, I think they would go with Smith and Jiba. I'm going to go there. Wide receiver.
I think that's probably what I would have done too. Okay, now you have Green Bay at 13. Green Bay at 13 is fascinating because they obviously moved up 2 picks with the Jets for the Aaron Rodgers trade that happened today. The Green Bay needs our wide receiver, tight end, edge, tackle, and quarterback. They used to be pretty good rushing the passer. They've gotten a little bit worse overall. This to me says pass rusher, and this is where you start to get into the Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy situation. They like that 3-4 with the pass rushing outside linebacker. I'm going to go Nolan Smith 13 to the Packers. It could be wide receiver here too, but with Njigba going, it's like, okay, I mean, what are you going to do? Jordan Addison? Maybe, but let's go Nolan Smith for 13.
All right. Yep. Let's see. Okay, Patriots 14. Can you pull up the team needs real quick?
Yeah. Team needs for the Patriots. They need wide receiver, corner, linebacker, edge, and defensive tackle.
Okay. All right. I was just making sure there. I feel like he would go earlier than this, but as we're going through these teams, it's hard to say, okay, where did the trades happen? But if he's still available at this point, I could see them going with a Christian Gonzalez. Okay. I mean, that seems like a lot of value. Obviously, he's number 7 there on the board. So, yeah, let's go with Christian Gonzalez.
A couple comments here. Ernest says, hey, guys, if Howie doesn't take Bijan, this will be another failure similar to not taking Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I've heard that one. T.Y. Wright says, if we get Lucas Van Ness, I'll rage so hard. I would at 10. I'd understand it at 30, but not 10. Packers think go with Kincaid. I have the pack. Okay, that's not a bad idea. The Jefferson's pick still gives me nightmares. Okay, the Jets' needs are interesting because they need offensive line help. This is where I could really see a Broderick Jones or a Darnell Wright from Tennessee, and it's kind of take your pick on who you want. You figure they'd want to protect their new superstar quarterback, and they kind of have a lot of weapons. This, to me, would be where Darnell Wright or Broderick Jones. I'll go Jones, but I've heard Wright can be right up there, so it's fine.
Yep. Okay.
Commanders. What do the Commanders do? The Commanders team needs are cornerback, linebacker, edge, guard, and defensive tackle. What do you think here?
I'm going to say, taking a look at that board. Yeah, I'm going to say here, if they're looking at, just had a tackle or a guard go off, Broderick Jones. So, yeah. Okay, go back up at the top again.
Murphy.
Yeah, I think I'll go Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah, get that edge, especially Chase sense. Young. They're not picking up the 5th-year option. Let's reload. Let's get another edge for cheaper.
Pittsburgh's interesting because they really need a wide receiver. They drafted their quarterback last year. I think this is where you see Jordan Addison, who is most people's second wide receiver to come off the board. Make the case Quentin Johnston, but I would think wide receiver here, and I would go Jordan Addison. He's the best one available. Detroit.
Like it.
Detroit has already gotten, they've gotten Devin Witherspoon. So they have corner figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take that off of their question. They safety, linebacker, tight end, and quarterback. I don't know if quarterback's not big of a need, but whatever.
No. I think at this point, to me, I mean, if this is the way that the draft has fallen, I could see them. You're trying to get some weapons, obviously, and they've got some defensive players. You already just took a defensive position. I'm gonna say go with Kincaid, tight end, solidify that.
Cowboy fans very, very upset. We go over here to the needs of the Bucks as they need edge rusher. They could use some cornerback help here. I think that there's a really good case for Deonte Banks, who's one of the other good cornerbacks in this draft. But Joey Porter Jr. to me makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure he visited them too. So we'll go. We will go there.
I like it. All right. So Seahawks back up. let's see. They will take. Yeah, we'll go Darnell Wright.
Okay, Darnell
With an
Wright,
offensive
Seattle
lineman.
Seahawks.
Yep.
There you go. That makes sense. A couple of things here in terms of comments. Let's see here. Would you rather go back in time and have the Eagles get Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf, or stick with Smith and Brown? I like Smith and Brown, but you couldn't go wrong with Metcalf and Jefferson. I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious. Thumbs up right now for the show. We're going to finish up the mock draft and get back to the questions here as we're trying to go for both. We're looking at right now a situation where the Chargers are up, and the Chargers also could use a cornerback. I'll go Deonte Banks to the Chargers at 21.
Okay, like it. All right, Ravens
Baltimore
are up now.
Maybe Lamar Jackson, maybe not.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, are they going to actually have him or not? Yeah, who are they going to go with here?
It's tough. They need wide receiver, maybe, not really. They need linemen.
Yeah, who's available there? Maybe
Skoronski or Van Ness. It's kind of your take.
Yeah. Let's if Van Ness is I don't like, you guys kind of know that. I don't really like the Van Ness pick, but if he's getting a lot of interest for apparently the 10th pick with the Eagles at this point, if he's available, let's take him there.
Yeah, Van Ness goes there. This is where I think you could see a little bit of a surprise. Now, there's a couple of options here in terms of where we're sitting at, but I think this is Hendon Hooker. I think that you're sitting at a place where they're not sold, the Vikings are, on the long-term situation of Kirk Cousins. Hooker has been widely popular the past couple of weeks. Let's throw another quarterback in the mix. Let's go Hooker at 23.
All right.
Jaguars here at 24. Their team needs are cornerback, safety, tight end, guard, and defensive tackle. A couple of very interesting players still on the board. Brian Brisset is still there as well. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also have Keely Ringo, Quentin Johnston, and Zay Flowers, who apparently loves Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Let's see. We'll go. I was thinking D-line. Yeah, I think I agree with Tyler there. Let's go with Brian Breezy.
Okay, he goes off the board. We got the New York Giants right now. The Giants, there's a case that you could make for going ahead and taking maybe a wide receiver here. Maybe. I don't know how strong of the need is there, but cornerback, I think Ringo makes some sense there. And he can also kind of move over to safety if they want him to. I'll go Ringo at 25. You got to pick the Cowboys.
Oh,
what do you want the Cowboys to take?
I have seen this name come up quite a bit. There's other names here, obviously, like Quentin Johnston. What I'm debating here right now is Quentin Johnston or Michael Mayer. Those two. And I've started seeing a lot of tight end option in the first round for the Cowboys. I don't know if that's where they're actually going to go, but do I want to take a Quentin Johnston or a Michael Mayer? I'm going to go. Let's go tight end.
Okay,
let's get
Mayer there. Buffalo at 27. Let's assume Buffalo doesn't get DeAndre Hopkins. They don't get DeAndre Hopkins. Let's say they lose him to the Chiefs. Then you would draft Zay Flowers to piss the Chiefs off. That's how I would do it if I was Buffalo. Because it seems like they want another receiver, even though they don't need another receiver. But if they want another receiver, a lot of people are talking about Flowers being fantastic. So we'll give them Flowers.
Cool.
Cincinnati's needs. They got the tackle with Orlando Brown. They need cornerback, edge, guard, and tight end. Anyone that really tickles your fancy here?
I like Cool Reigns. I should have done that. Give the Cowboys the worst player. Should have just gone with a punter.
Yeah,
but
of course.
All right. Is that the top of the board? Can you go back up?
Top of the board's Branch.
There's Foskey.
It's tough here. This is hard.
Yeah. Let's go with what are the needs again? You just pulled those up. It was edge.
It was. Where are they? They are
edge, cornerback, offensive tackle.
Yeah, guard, tight end.
Okay, let's go with Foskey.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to do with the edge. Saints, what are the Saints' needs? I don't even know. D tackle, edge, wide receiver, and tight end. I think this would be a Quentin Johnston. Get yourself a weapon for D Carr. Philly again. Look at you, lucky. What do you want?
Philly back on the board. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let you pick. So, keep
Wow,
things
that's very
fair.
kind.
But I didn't want
Very
to tell
kind.
you that until we got there because I didn't want you
Wow.
to take someone, and then be like, oh, I'm leaving someone for myself to pick.
Wow.
So you go ahead. You take the second pick in the first round
I
here. Who
appreciate
are
that.
you taking?
It's one of these two. It's either Branch or Cansey. I think you really take your pick. And for me, it would probably be Cansey just because they want to get a pass rusher and a defensive tackle. Or, I mean, that's Branch, like we said, running back and safety would be so shocking to me that Howie would do. So I will
That
go
would be.
ahead and take Kalijah Cansey, which you can't see on the screen because we're blocking it, but there it is. Okay.
There we go.
And the Chiefs,
Sweet.
don't have needs because they have Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs' needs are as follows, wherever their picture is. I can't find it. There it is. Tackle, receiver, edge, defensive tackle, and safety.
Okay. I could see them. I know we're rounding it out here.
Yeah.
There's so many good options because it's like if Brian Branch is still available, do you take him? But they lost a tackle. You go with Anton Harrison maybe or DeJuan Jones. Let's give him Anton Harrison.
Okay. I think
let's
that makes a lot of sense.
keep Patrick Mahomes clean.
There you go. All right, that's it. That is the official first round mock
There you go.
draft.
People were asking, could we get Bijan and Cansey, and we just did it.
So you guys can. This is not going to be right because there are going to be trades, but a lot of fun there to go ahead and break it down. A lot of questions coming up on the board as well. We'll get back to those in just a second. Quick reminder, as always, the jersey giveaway. Bunch of new entries tonight. You will have time tomorrow to enter, but it's up until right around when the Eagles pick. And then we're going to cut the entries, make sure everyone is then put into our online drawing system, and then announce the winner live. So if you want to get your entries in now, you can, or you can wait till tomorrow. Either way, it's going to be a bunch, of fun. We're going live 7:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on my channel. Be sure to be there. Don't be late. We'll be live for the entire first round. It's going to be an absolute blast. Turn on your notification bell. It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be very, very fun. Let's see. Will McDonald for the Chiefs. Could be. Cool Rain's less than 24 hours is the draft. That's right. We are officially this time tomorrow.
I can't wait.
A team on the clock. Alfonso says see you tomorrow. Is everyone watching now going to be joining tomorrow? The hope is that we're going to get a bunch of people to watch tomorrow. I think a bunch of people are going to be watching, which should be a bunch of fun. The Latin Inferno says Bijan and Cansey would be a home run first round draft. It would be. We did a pretty good job.
I would love it.
I think it'd be pretty darn good. Branch would be fine there too, but the odds would be pass rusher. I think the hard part with defensive lineman, pass rusher, whatever, after the first round, I mean, you are throwing darts blind. You have no idea. At least a first round guy has a higher chance of contributing sooner. I really think one of the two picks tomorrow are going to be a pass rusher or Carter, who is a pass rusher but defensive tackle. That's my guess.
Yep, I agree. And there's a reason that defensive lineman is the top of Vegas odds for what the Eagles are going to select first. Yep. So you can go with that. You seem to think that it's going to be Skoronski. So to bring that back up,
I do.
Put your money where your mouth is. You put a little side bet on the O tackle going first.
Not.
You've got some good odds there if you want
What are the tackle odds right now? If it was going to be
I'd have to, let's see what DraftKings. I want to say that it was like plus 170 or something like that.
It's not bad. Make 170.
It's enticing.
100. It's enticing. Yeah. I think tackle is a very real possibility for sure. Yeet Brosidon. I think I said that right. 2 entries into the jersey giveaway here. I think it's his first time. Yeet, welcome to the chance of a lifetime. Robinson and Cansey would be the dream come true. It really would be. I mean, we said that multiple times. Yes, this is that is as close to an A round draft that you could possibly do. You appease all the Bijan lovers and you appease the Howie Roseman lovers who want him to take defensive line or offensive line. That would make a ton of sense. Andrea says, yep, I'll be here tomorrow. Andrea, fantastic. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Malik Morgan says he'll be there as well. We're going to have a bunch of fun. And I have ways to make sure that I'm seeing picks and Josh and I are seeing picks right as they're happening versus a delay. So we're going to be pretty much at the forefront of knowing what the picks are. So a good reason to be here is you're going to know first. So good chance there. It's going to be a bunch of fun. So be sure to go ahead and check that one out. I did do a poll. I'm trying to see the results of the poll. Excuse me. 93 people voted. Have you entered the jersey giveaway? 87% said no. 12% said yes. So if you guys have not entered in, you got to do it.
All right.
Tyler Wallace will be there. Fantastic. Tyler has a chance to win tomorrow. That's right. They all do. But he dropped some big super chats last week and is very much alive for a chance to go ahead and get it.
He's got a good bit.
Yeet Poseidon back in it. 5 more. Would you rather Bijan and Kancey or Carter and Gibbs? We did this argument a lot the past couple of weeks. I would rather have, oh man, Carter and Gibbs. You would take Bijan and Kancey. I think I'd take Carter and Gibbs. I think Carter's special. I think he's really good. I think he's the best player in this draft.
That's a hard, yeah. I mean, even for me as a Bijan supporter, I'm not gonna lie. That's a very difficult choice there. Like
your favorite child here. I mean, come on. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm supposed to just plead the fifth. I'm supposed to not answer that. Really.
Yeah,
that's tough. I think either one, you're super happy, right? I mean, you go with either one of those options, but yeah, that's a tough choice there because I think the difference between Carter and Kancey, and again, it's just the eye test, and you have no clue how they're going to pan out, but it's like that, and then the difference between Bijan and Gibbs. I don't know, like we've talked about. You can put a lot of running backs in this offense, and they're going to be successful, but it's like that extra umph that you get from a Bijan Robinson. I mean, Gibbs would still be great. I mean, he would be really, really fantastic in this offense. That's tough. I don't know.
That is tough. Cool Rain says, I wish I could be there, but it will start at 10 in the morning. When it starts, I have to work. You can't have it like on your phone at work. You can't. We're mobile. You can take us. It happens.
Sneak it in there. Don't do anything you shouldn't.
Yeah, don't get fired. Okay. Keith Wells with a 20. He didn't put any comment there, so he gets 20 entries. But Keith, if you want to comment something down below, I'll throw it up on the screen too. But you do get 20 entries into the jersey giveaway. So shout out to Keith. If you want to say something, go for it. Dante Dragon, this one is for Josh's Bugatti fund. There you go. We're working on Josh's Bugatti fund.
Appreciate that.
What would your wife Sandy say to you coming home in a Bugatti? That would be a very, very fun conversation. Very fun.
I couldn't explain that one away. Yeah, we've got diapers that we're trying to afford. I'm showing up with a Bugatti. So
maybe a diaper fund. You never know. Latin Inferno says Carter and Gibbs would be my pick out of the two. We appreciate that. Dantel, you're back on for 2 more. Igloo says, I just lost the game. And I did just lose the game. And I remember being in middle school and losing the game all the time. Josh, do you know what the game is? You ever heard of the game? Wow, you know what the game is, huh?
I don't know, actually.
It was when I was in middle school. Essentially, it's a game that everyone plays at all times. And as soon as you say, as soon as you think about the game, you have to say you just lost the game. If you say you just lost the game, then I tell you I lost the game. That means you lost the game because you're thinking about the game as well. So whenever you think about the game and you think about it, then you lose the game. So I just lost the game. I think I'm right, Igloo. Okay. I remember playing that a lot in middle school, just randomly. So 2 entries, though, for losing the game. Says
Did not know that.
No one. I wish my trade that we talked about would go happen, but I don't see Bijan making it past Atlanta. Personally, I want him or Carter. Okay, this is interesting. No one does have an entry or 5 entries in here. Okay, shout out to no one. A lot of people are getting entries in. Tonight's the night to do it. Okay. I live in Atlanta. I worked on the Atlanta Falcons radio network. I hosted a radio show on 92.9 The Game, obviously the Falcons flagship. Like I have pretty good ties to the Atlanta Falcons, and there is serious buzz from what I've heard about Bijan Robinson. And the reason is very simple. One, you take a little bit of pressure off Desmond Ridder, and Ridder, kind of needs to work, especially if they don't draft C.J. Stroud at number 8. But 2, and this is the kicker, there are not a lot of Falcon fans that buy tickets to Mercedes-Benz Stadium on a given year. I went 2 years ago when Philadelphia was in town. A lot of my friends go on a weekly basis. It's empty, and it gets to be half empty. It's really sad, and it's one of the jewels in terms of NFL stadiums, not in the entire South, in the entire country. So Bijan makes some sense, and it'd be very interesting to see them do it because they have a lot of other holes. But, that would be very interesting if it's Bijan Robinson. Let's just say that. Very interesting.
I would be surprised. I would definitely be surprised.
It'd be interesting. When I get Lamar Jackson,
Algier, Yeah.
That's what I would do. I would get Lamar Jackson to sell more tickets. And like you said, they have Tyler Algier, who's one of the best rookie running backs last season. So I don't know. It's tough. Here, Keith. This would have been his question from his $20 super chat. If they draft Robinson, would McNabb let him wear 5? I doubt it. I doubt it. 0 Probably is not a popular pick. Although you have to wonder, did they? What did he wear in high school? Was it 5? Was it something else? I don't know.
Yeah, does somebody know that off the top of their head?
I don't know if anyone does. Be curious, though. Hyper Squad says, Hype Squad, I live in Missouri. I'll either be at the draft or hosting a watch party. I'll drop in for a bit. Mott. I appreciate that. Yeah, jump in. It'd be fun. No one. Also, my name is just no one. I know the one throws you off. Okay, I got it. John Milkovich. It's like John Malkovich, but Milkovich. I know there's a good problem to have, but if they hit on 2 linemen in the first in this year's first round to be able to afford to pay both. I draft 2 different positions because of this D lineman and cornerback, maybe, but they could totally, they'll be able to pay both. It's fine.
I think so too.
Falcons need other more important spots than running back. I agree, but they do need to sell tickets. That has been a perennial problem for the Atlanta Falcons since I moved to Atlanta. So, Dontel Dragon, there you go. Diaper Fund, 2 more. He says cowboy jerseys, but even that's a little disrespectful to even have something of cowboy make touching the skin of your kid. I wouldn't want that on me. I don't want to touching my skin. Yuck. Yeah.
Well, maybe once you start changing diapers, you'll change. I think it works actually. That's great. I'm a fan.
I've already told my girlfriend she'll change the diapers. I don't need help with that. Come on.
Man,
I'm gonna get a text message.
Good luck whenever that. Yeah, when you really get to that point eventually.
For that one.
Wow.
No, honey, you take care of it. It's fine. I don't want to. You got it. Yeah, not fun. Not fun. 2 more for Donatello Dragon. He's just climbing up the board here for our jersey giveaway. Ivan Lopez, I listen to you guys at work. Ivan, we appreciate that. Yeah, all you night shifters. I was a night shift guy too. I had 11 to 2 a.m. radio slot, so I was up with you guys. I feel that.
Oh yeah, remember those days.
Yeah, Jazz says he did wear 5 in high school. There you go. So it'd be a brand new number.
He said apparently Joe Castro was speaking to him today. He was signing autographs at the Verizon deal, but he said he wouldn't mind whatever. He's open to any number. So I'd love to see if he came to Philly, go ahead and pick up that Agent Zero title as well as already getting Bijan. I'm just saying that's an automatic. I'm going to get that jersey for sure.
I saw Castro was holding the draft 5 hat. I'm telling you, it's a nice hat. It's a nice hat, but if they don't draft 5, bye hat.
And Bijan said he said low key he's been like hearing and kind of seeing some of the rumors that you always wonder like how much are they reading into just social media and like people blowing up stuff, but like his name's mentioned everywhere. But he said specifically he's seen Philly going crazy about it's Bijan or bust. So that's kind of cool. He's keeping at least a small eye out, maybe not a lot, but somewhat. He's keeping an eye.
Cool Rain, after my diaper comment, said, here comes the text. And you're right. The text says from the girlfriend, amount of times you say something stupid and Josh says, ooh, with such disappointment. I like Josh. Difference between a married man and Josh and a soon-to-be married man and myself. Yeah. It's the amount of times I say something stupid. Okay, there you go. The text was going to come.
Oh, my gosh. That's great. I love it.
Brian Westbrook's number says Luis Harris. I don't know. I feel like if you're a running back, you want to pave your own. You don't want 36, 25. I think mixing it up a little bit. It'd be interesting.
Could you go with 8? Some people said he was wearing the Kobe. He was wearing the Kobe shirt today. 8 could be kind of fun, but then you got to ask. Like Mariota is already 8, so you.
Yes, that picture today on Twitter I saw. He was rocking 8
out of 8. I don't know.
No one says. Do you think there is any possibility that we don't get the big 3 and just trade back? One of the big 3 being Wilson, Carter, or Anderson. Yeah, 100%. And it's going to stink because the Eagles, they trade back from 10. It delays our night in terms of waiting for the Eagles pick, but it's definitely a possibility. Let's see. Jay Ajayi wore 36 during Super Bowl run. I forgot about that. Yes, he did. That's weird that Jay Ajayi of all people got that number, but what are you going to do? Interesting.
Yeah, he made it worth it for the short time. Obviously not long duration, but
won a Super Bowl. Jazz Fusion, do you like hockey? No, I do not. I am not a hockey guy.
Not at all?
At all. No. I went to one Dallas Stars game on like a sorority date night back whenever we were both at Baylor, and that was it. Never been to another hockey game.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, not a hockey guy.
We don't watch a whole lot. I will say, if you go to a hockey game in person, that is a totally different vibe.
It is different. Sure.
Yeah. I'm a fan of that. I don't watch it a whole lot on TV. Playoffs, I'll watch, now during this duration, but in person, I think hockey and soccer, to me, very big differences. Watching on TV versus in person. If I'm in person, you can get me interested. If I'm if it's watching TV, it's like, the game really needs to matter.
Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Jazz Fusion, no Thomas, double his number. Okay. I see. I love Hockey Go Flyers, even though they suck. Yeah, that's the problem. They also are absolutely terrible. Andrew says he's hoping Carter burns some sticky in a gas mask to get him to drop to 10. It's a possibility, but I doubt it. That was wild. The Laramie Tunsil night when he had the gas mask bong was very wild.
That was, yeah.
Very, very wild.
We've seen some crazy stuff on draft night. I'm just, hopefully nothing really on that side and more of just craziness like trades and Howie winning the draft and, something that benefits the Eagles there. But yeah, that was crazy.
Tyler, everything says, do you guys sell sandwiches? Not sure what that's about. I can't say I do.
No,
The
I
official sandwich to Thomas Mott show. If some sandwich shop wants to sponsor, I will gladly accept. My girlfriend loves sandwiches, so you'll get out of the doghouse with my stupid comments that I make. But
what's
what are
her
you gonna do?
favorite sandwich?
She loves
Put you on the spot.
she loves paninis. She loves Italian sandwiches,
Okay.
turkey, little turkey with a provolone. Oh yeah, big Italian girl. The boy M says, finally caught alive. The boy, you made it. We had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun
Appreciate that.
all night, but tonight was very fun. We talked obviously early on about all the reports of the Eagles preparing for a trade up. The one thing we didn't talk about in terms of trading up, what will the cost be? Because if it takes 2 first-round draft picks to go from 10 to 7, do we want to do it? You know, because if it's a first and one of the seconds next year, then I'm all for it. But if I got to give up 30, then you got to convince yourself that, I mean, we're sitting at a place where Carter can't miss, I guess. I don't know. The Wildwood would be a trip to 7 to secure Bijan ahead of Atlanta. That'd be nuts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's not a world that I could see that happening, quite honestly. Like, Howie's only taking him if the stars align, and basically, I don't think he's going to trade up in any way. It maybe if he's going to take him, you just wait till 10 or you trade back, and then it's like, oh, he's still available. I can't get myself to saying at the moment it is like Howie is totally in favor of that. I know that the reports are that Nick Sirianni is for Bijan. But yeah, if you've got Jalen Carter available at 7, you trade up. I don't know. You could make the argument because I'm sure you've probably seen it. We've done a couple of shows on it, but how many first round grades are there truly in this draft? And apparently some scouts are saying that there's about 15, so it's not a stronger draft class when you compare it against others. But, who truly knows that? Because we can look at other previous drafts and go, well, that didn't really turn out so great. I don't know. But if you think that's truly the case, then you could argue, hey, this year's 30 is not as valuable, right? Like you're going to trade up and get a guy that you see as a perennial Pro Bowler, a special talent like Jalen Carter. So it wouldn't just totally shock me, but there'd be a little bit of indigestion, I guess. It's like, oh, great. Okay, well, the first round's probably done, and now we just wait at this point for day 2. So I don't know. That'd be a steep price, I still think, for a 10 and 30.
Tyler Wall says, get that Wawa sponsorship. That'd be something, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? The official
I'm in favor of that.
Sponsor the Thomas Mott Show, Wawa. That'd be cool. Jazz Fusion Carter gets past Detroit, they strike. That seems like a very factual comment. Yeah, if he gets past Detroit, meaning he got past Pete Carroll, then striking would be very realistic, and you would think with the Raiders at 7 is where they would go, and that makes some sense. I could see that. Sicario says how he's not drafting Bijan at 10, let alone trade up for him. It would be Carter or Skoronski. We said that too. It's a very, very real possibility. Very real possibility. All right, we'll mention the jersey giveaway one more time. Anyone is still wanting to get some entries in? We got about 5 more minutes in the show, and then we'll wrap things up because we have a long night tomorrow night. We'll be live the entire night. I mean, we're starting at 7:30. Don't be late. Tell your friends. We're going to have as quickly of the picks as possible, reacting to everything, and especially that Eagles pick. We're going to announce the jersey giveaway winner tomorrow night at some point in the evening, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And obviously, we're going to need you to reach out to us once we select you to get your email address, because I don't think we can get your email address from YouTube. So we're going to need your help in terms of making sure that we get you that jersey as soon as Fanatics makes it available, which it will not be available night 1. It'll be available in the coming days. So, patience on that.
But we will get it quick.
As quickly as possible. As soon as they come up, we know your size. Boom, pulling the trigger. All right, 5 more minutes, meaning time for the last couple of questions here. Josh Andrew says there's only so many passes to go around. Jay's SN would be too much of a luxury pick. You said that earlier. It does feel like taking a receiver in the first round is too much of a luxury pick, especially with what they do with Olamide Zaccheaus, who I'm very high on as a slot player. They still have Quez Watkins, who's going to be on a revenge tour because it really kicked him off on Twitter, apparently. It feels like JSN would be a very, very surprising reach unless you believe he is a top tier wide receiver 1 caliber player to have assurance if someone gets hurt. But he would be a bigger shock than Bijan. I think he would be the shock of the first round for Philly, more so than Bijan, because I don't think the Eagles are going to draft Bijan. So I don't know.
I agree. I think so too. If you do that, then I don't know. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, it's like you talk about mouths to feed. Like, how is everyone going to be happy about that situation? You start, hey, AJ is not getting thrown the ball as much. He doesn't have as much cash strapped to his back plate as he had previously. I don't know. It's just not the best vibes, I feel like. Maybe you change your offensive scheme. You go with 3-4 receiver sets on every down, basically. Yeah. I don't know. But to me, yeah, I would be a lot more shocked in that, even as crazy as we think it would be if the Eagles actually went with Bijan. So it's not the luxury pick that you have or really fits with this team here, I don't think.
Corian says, would you like it if we trade for Josh Jacobs if we don't draft Bijan? Sure. I'd rather have Eckler if I had to pick, but just draft Bijan. If you really got to give up draft capital, why don't just give up one draft capital for someone who's going to be here for sure for the next 4.5, 5 years? It doesn't make sense to trade for a running back if you have the chance at Bijan, excuse me.
I agree. Yeah. If you're going to go running back, take Bijan, or heck, even if you're not going to take Bijan, I would say take a Jahmyr Gibbs later, take a Zach Charbonnet. If you're thinking running back in this draft, yeah, let's stay young. You've got the window, as we've talked about, for 4 years at a minimum, if not 5, with the way the cap is structured and everything else, which sets up perfectly. Like, take who you want. Like, at a running back position, whoever, you're going to be solid for 4 years, and you're not going to really have to worry too much about the cap. Howie sees the window, and I think he's going for it. So that's the case obviously could be made for Bijan, but even if it's not him, like I said, you got other running back options.
Now, the inverse of that is what Andrew just said, is if he's there at 30, would you rather have Branch or trade the pick for Arizona for Baker? Because you know how I would get him to sign a new deal with the 1/4, the cap hit. I would rather have I'd rather have Budda Baker than Branch at safety. To me, it's different than running back, but I wouldn't trade a first-round draft pick for Budda Baker. I would trade a third-round draft pick for Budda Baker at best. Draft stock for players that want new contracts tanks. Always in the National Football League. I would do a third for Budda. I wouldn't give up 30 for it, but I'd rather have Budda than Branch if I had to pick.
I agree. Yep. I'm with you. Budda's proven you're not going to have him for probably super long term, but you're going to get an extension or a deal done where Howie does free up some cap space to just make it work for those couple seasons. But yeah, I don't know. Safety is one of those that sometimes you can have a player come in, but I'd be more skeptical, even though I'm high on Brian Branch. I know a lot of people are, but it's like that's a position where does he come in immediately and does he translate really well? Or does he need a little bit of time to ramp up? I think Budda, you signed or you trade, and he is immediately making an impact on your defense.
I think that makes a really good point. Yeah, I would basically agree with that almost, pretty much wholeheartedly. Budda's an instant playmaker and can really do some damage for the Birds. I think he's better than C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was really, really good. All right, let's wrap up with, I think this final comment here. No one says, I know you all are about to head out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Can't wait. Go Birds. Yes, we are going to head out right now, but, and this is very important, we will be live tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for the entire first round. We have to be because Philly is there at 30, and what are they going to do? Now, we might wait up till midnight for them to pick someone at 30, and then the pick not be in because they trade back, but who knows? We're going to have a ton of fun tomorrow. We're going to announce the jersey giveaway. Might have some other stuff as well. Who knows? You got to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a blast. 7:30 p.m. Don't be late. Pick by pick, myself and Josh Davis. We appreciate all of you guys subscribing, thumbs up, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
See you then.